The massive colony ship drifted through the endless void of space, its quantum-shielded hull protecting the last remnants of humanity. Silent and dark, the vessel carried hundreds of cryogenically preserved humans who had escaped the Great Genocide. 3,000 years earlier, Captain J. Park floated through the dimly lit corridors, his eyes scanning the rows of hibernation pods. Each pod represented a story, a life saved from the total destruction of human civilization. The ship's artificial intelligence, a sophisticated system named ARIA, monitored the life support systems with precision. Outside the ship's protective shell, space remained an infinite darkness. No stars, no signals, just pure emptiness. The ship had been programmed to drift silently, avoiding detection by any potential threats. Its quantum cloaking technology made it invisible to any scanning systems that might accidentally pass nearby. Inside, the hibernation chamber, genetic modifications were evident in the preserved bodies. These were not ordinary humans from the past, but carefully engineered survivors. Enhanced muscle structures, advanced neural networks, and adaptive immune systems made them unlike any previous human generation. Jay remembered the stories passed down through generations, tales of how humanity was nearly wiped out by a ruthless alien confederation. His grandparents had been among the last survivors who managed to escape, carrying with them the hope of future revenge. Their technology, developed in secret research facilities, represented humanity's last desperate attempt to survive. The ship's memory banks contained extensive historical records. Holographic displays occasionally flickered with fragmented images of the Great War, massive space battles, burning planetary surfaces, and the systematic destruction of human colonies. Each image was a painful reminder of what was lost and what needed to be avenged. Aria's soft voice broke the silence. Detecting minimal energy fluctuations, all systems stable, cryogenic preservation at optimal levels. The AI had been their guardian, their protector, maintaining the ship's course and protecting its precious human cargo for millennia. Jay touched one of the hibernation pods. Inside, a young woman named Arya Kim slept peacefully. She was genetically designed to be a strategic mastermind, her brain implants capable of processing complex tactical scenarios faster than any known biological or artificial intelligence. The ship carried not just survivors, but a carefully curated collection of human knowledge. Data banks contained scientific discoveries, technological blueprints, cultural archives, and strategic information that could help humanity rebuild and potentially seek justice. Radiation shields maintained a perfect internal environment. Advanced recycling systems ensured that oxygen, water, and essential nutrients were continuously regenerated. The ship was more than a vessel. It was a living ecosystem designed to preserve humanity's last hope. Random system checks revealed the extraordinary nature of their preservation. Medical nanobots continuously repaired cellular damage, preventing aging and maintaining the physical condition of the hibernating humans. Each pod was essentially a miniature life preservation chamber. As decades and centuries passed, the ship continued its silent journey. No external communication, no signals sent or received. Just a perfect, controlled environment carrying the seed of human potential through the cold, dark universe. Captain J. Park knew their mission was more than survival. It was about remembrance, about proving that humanity could not be easily erased from existence. The alien confederation that believed they had completely destroyed human civilization would one day learn the terrible truth. The ship moved with calculated precision, its quantum drive allowing it to navigate through space without traditional propulsion methods. Sometimes it would briefly emerge from complete stealth, scan the surrounding space, and then retreat back into its protective quantum field. Each human in the hibernation pods represented a different skill, a different potential. Engineers, scientists, military strategists, cultural experts, a diverse genetic library waiting to be awakened. They were humanity's ultimate insurance policy, a last desperate attempt to ensure the species would not be forgotten. As another millennium passed, the ship continued its silent journey, waiting, watching, preparing for the moment when humanity would finally emerge from the shadows and remind the universe of their existence. The first hibernation pod activated with a soft hiss, breaking the centuries-long silence. Arya Kim's eyes opened slowly, her enhanced neural implants quickly processing the surrounding environment. The cryogenic chamber's systems came to life, bringing warmth and energy to the dormant humans. Around her, other pods began to wake up. The ship's artificial intelligence, Arya, guided the awakening process with precise calculations. Each human's body was carefully monitored, nanobots working to restore muscle mass and neural connections that had been preserved during their long sleep. Jay Park was the first to fully regain consciousness. His enhanced vision scanned the hibernation chamber, checking the status of his fellow survivors. Memories flooded back, the stories of their near extinction, the carefully preserved hope of revenge, the mission that had kept their people alive for thousands of years. The ship's internal systems revealed the passage of time. 3,000 years had passed since humans were believed to be completely destroyed. The technology surrounding them was beyond anything their ancestors could have imagined. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing star maps, historical records, and complex diagnostic information. Arya Kim moved to the central command center. Her genetically enhanced brain processed information at incredible speeds. She began analyzing the ship's historical archives, piecing together the complex story of human survival. Fragments of data revealed the brutal war that had nearly wiped out their civilization, the desperate escape, and the carefully planned preservation of their species. Medical systems completed full body scans. Each human showed remarkable adaptations: increased muscle density, enhanced neural pathways, advanced immune responses. They were no longer the humans of 3,000 years ago, but a carefully engineered version designed to survive and potentially fight back. The ship's weapon systems began a slow activation process. Hidden compartments revealed advanced technology: quantum weapons, adaptive combat systems, and stealth technologies that could render entire fleets invisible. These were not just defensive mechanisms, but tools of potential retribution. Communication systems started mapping the current galactic landscape. Star charts showed how the universe had changed. Alien civilizations that once hunted humans had likely forgotten about their existence. Strategic maps began to form, revealing potential vulnerabilities and targets. J. Park gathered the awakened crew in the main briefing area. Holographic displays showed the history of their near extinction. Images of burning human colonies, massive space battles, and the systematic destruction of their civilization played out in vivid detail. Each survivor watched with a mixture of pain and growing determination. "We are not just survivors," Jay announced, his voice steady and clear. "We are humanity's last hope. Our mission is more than survival. It's about remembrance and justice." The ship's technology was beyond anything in the known galaxy. Quantum communication systems could intercept and decode any signal. Stealth technologies made them invisible to even the most advanced scanning systems. Weapon designs showed capabilities that would make entire civilizations tremble. Arya Kim began developing strategic plans. Her enhanced brain could process millions of potential scenarios in seconds. She mapped out potential approaches, analyzing the current political and military landscape of the galaxy. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were a carefully prepared weapon. Medical systems continued to bring more survivors out of hibernation. Each person represented a unique skill. Engineers, scientists, military strategists, cultural experts. They were a complete genetic library, preserved and enhanced to ensure humanity's ultimate survival. As the ship's systems fully activated, a sense of purpose filled the corridors. These were not the same humans who had been nearly destroyed thousands of years ago. They were something new, something stronger, something prepared to reclaim their place in the universe. The awakening was more than just a return. It was a promise of vengeance, a declaration that humanity would not be forgotten. The galaxy that believed them extinct was about to learn a terrible truth. Humans had survived, and they were ready to fight back. The ship moved silently through the outer regions of known space. Hyun Cho, the tactical intelligence officer, worked tirelessly on mapping the current galactic landscape. His enhanced neural interfaces connected directly with the ship's advanced scanning systems, revealing intricate details about alien civilizations. Quantum communication networks intercepted thousands of signals every second. Each piece of information was carefully analyzed, decoded, and stored in the ship's massive databanks. The humans were collecting intelligence with a precision that would have been impossible for any other species. Arya Kim stood beside Hyun, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. Complex algorithms processed massive amounts of data, creating detailed strategic maps. The alien confederation that once destroyed humanity had grown complacent, spreading their control across multiple star systems without any fear of resistance. The ship's weapon development team worked in sealed laboratories. Advanced fabrication systems could create entire weapon systems from raw molecular components. They designed technologies that could disable entire planetary defense networks in seconds, weapons that exploited fundamental weaknesses in alien technological systems. J. Park reviewed the preliminary reconnaissance reports. The galaxy had changed dramatically. What was once a unified alien confederation had fragmented into multiple competing territories. Their research showed internal conflicts, economic instabilities, and technological stagnation among the civilizations that had believed humans were extinct. Stealth drones were deployed, each smaller than a human hand but equipped with quantum scanning capabilities. These tiny machines infiltrated communication networks, gathered intelligence, and returned with critical information. They could pass through defensive systems without detection, collecting data with perfect precision. The ship's artificial intelligence, Arya, began constructing comprehensive threat assessments. Each alien civilization was analyzed for its technological capabilities, military strengths, and potential vulnerabilities. Millions of scenarios were calculated, potential conflict strategies developed and refined. Genetic enhancement labs worked on further improving human capabilities. Neural interfaces were upgraded, allowing for faster information processing. Muscle structures were refined, giving humans enhanced physical capabilities beyond standard biological limitations. Every system was designed for maximum efficiency and adaptability. Weapon designs took shape in three-dimensional holographic spaces, quantum disruptors that could disable entire computer networks, molecular reconstruction weapons that could break down matter at its most fundamental level, silent strike systems that could eliminate targets without leaving any trace of their existence. The humans understood that their revenge could not be about total destruction. It was about strategic dismantling, removing the ability of their former destroyers to ever threaten them again. Each weapon, each strategy was carefully calculated to achieve maximum impact with minimum unnecessary damage. Communication interception revealed the complete lack of awareness among alien civilizations. They had no idea that humanity's survivors had not only survived, but had been preparing for this moment for thousands of years. Their overconfidence would become their greatest weakness. Training simulations ran continuously. Every crew member practiced multiple scenarios, from space combat to planetary infiltration. Virtual environments allowed them to test strategies, refine techniques, and prepare for any potential conflict. Nothing was left to chance. Hyun Cho discovered a critical weakness in the alien confederation's communication networks. Their long-term security systems had become predictable, their encryption methods outdated. The humans could potentially infiltrate and control these networks with minimal effort. As preparation continued, a sense of purpose filled the ship. This was not just about revenge, but about proving humanity's right to exist. They were no longer victims, but a carefully prepared force ready to reclaim their place in the universe. The ship moved silently, gathering intelligence, developing technologies, and preparing for the moment when humanity would emerge from the shadows. Their enemies had forgotten them. Soon, they would be reminded of humanity's true potential. The first strike came without warning. Quantum-cloaked ships emerged from seemingly empty space, their advanced systems bypassing every known defensive network. J. Park watched from the command center as precision weapons targeted critical alien infrastructure with surgical accuracy. Massive communication hubs went dark in seconds. Entire planetary defense systems collapsed without understanding what had happened. The human fleet moved like ghosts, striking key strategic points across multiple star systems. No explosions, no traditional weapons, just systematic technological destruction. Hyun Cho managed the tactical assault, his enhanced neural interfaces controlling multiple weapon systems simultaneously. Quantum disruptors sent cascading failure signals through alien computer networks. Entire planetary grids shut down. Military communication channels became nothing more than silent static. Area Kim's strategic calculations proved perfect. Each target was selected with mathematical precision. They weren't destroying civilizations but systematically removing their ability to respond or retaliate. Military bases, communication centers, central government systems, all fell within minutes. The alien confederation had no concept of the threat approaching. Their long-term security systems, unchanged for centuries, crumbled under technologies they could not comprehend. Defensive networks that had protected them for thousands of years became completely useless against human innovations. Advanced stealth drones infiltrated deeper systems, planting quantum-locked information viruses. These weren't traditional computer attacks, but complex biological-technological hybrids that could adapt and spread faster than any known defensive mechanism. Each system they touched became a potential point of total collapse. J. Park broadcast, a single message across multiple communication frequencies. Simple, direct, chilling. Humanity has returned. We remember everything. The initial strike was not about total destruction. It was a demonstration of capabilities, a warning. The humans showed they could disable entire civilizations without firing a single traditional weapon. Their technology was so advanced it seemed almost magical to their former destroyers. Planetary defense commanders watched in horror as their most secure systems simply stopped functioning. Entire military networks went dark. Communication became impossible. It was like an invisible force had simply reached into their most protected systems and turned them off. Quantum communication interceptors gathered real-time intelligence. The panic, the confusion, the total breakdown of alien military and governmental structures, everything was documented with clinical precision. Each moment of their strategic collapse was recorded for future analysis. The human fleet moved like liquid shadows between star systems. No traditional weapon signatures, no heat emissions, no detectable energy signals. They were everywhere and nowhere, striking with a precision that defied conventional understanding of warfare. Critical infrastructure began to fail across multiple alien territories. Power systems collapsed. Communication networks died. Military command structures became isolated and ineffective. The humans weren't destroying. They were systematically dismantling entire civilizations with technological precision. Arya Kim's strategic models predicted every potential response. Counterattacks were already neutralized before they could be conceived. The alien confederation found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't see, couldn't understand, and couldn't stop. The message was clear. Humanity was not extinct. They had not only survived but had evolved into something far beyond what their former destroyers could comprehend. Each strike was a calculated reminder of their technological superiority and their unbroken spirit. As quickly as they appeared, the human ships began to retreat. No prolonged engagement, no unnecessary destruction. Just a precise, devastating demonstration of what humanity had become during their centuries of hidden preparation. J. Park watched the tactical displays. Millions of systems disabled. Entire military networks neutralized. And not a single human life lost in the process. The first strike was complete. A perfect execution of revenge, strategy, and technological superiority. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had returned, and they were nothing like anyone remembered. The final phase of humanity's revenge began with calculated precision. J. Park stood on the command bridge, his eyes reflecting the holographic displays showing multiple star systems under systematic deconstruction. This was not about total destruction, but a surgical dismantling of an entire civilization's infrastructure. Quantum weapons targeted the most critical points of alien civilization. Communication networks collapsed, economic systems crumbled, military command structures disintegrated without a single traditional weapon being fired. The humans were cutting away the foundations of an entire galactic confederation with technological skills beyond comprehension. Arya Kim's strategic calculations proved devastating. Each strike removed another layer of the alien civilization's ability to function. Power grids went dark. Transportation networks became useless. Government systems lost all ability to communicate or coordinate. It was like watching a complex machine being slowly taken apart piece by strategic piece. The alien confederation realized too late what was happening. Their most secure systems were completely vulnerable. Quantum infiltration allowed humans to understand and manipulate every aspect of their technological infrastructure. What took thousands of years to build could be dismantled in mere moments. Hyun-Cho managed the final tactical assault. Advanced AI systems predicted and neutralized every potential defensive response. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that could predict their actions before they even considered them. Their most advanced technologies became nothing more than primitive tools against human innovation. J. Park broadcast a final message across all communication frequencies. His voice was calm, precise, carrying the weight of 3,000 years of survival and preparation. We are humanity. We have waited. We have prepared. And now, we reclaim our place in the universe. The destruction was methodical. No unnecessary loss of life. No complete annihilation. Just a complete removal of the civilization's ability to threaten or control others. Planetary defense systems became useless. Military networks collapsed. Economic structures disintegrated. Genetic archives on the human ship contained the complete history of their near extinction. Each strike was a calculated response to the brutality suffered by their ancestors. Not revenge through violence, but through complete technological superiority. Alien leaders watched in horror as their entire civilization was systematically dismantled. They could not fight an enemy they could not see, could not understand, and could not stop. Humanity had become something far beyond their original form, a technological force of perfect calculation and strategic brilliance. The quantum-cloaked human fleet moved between star systems like ghosts. No traditional weapon signatures, no detectable energy emissions. They were everywhere and nowhere, striking with a precision that made their actions seem almost supernatural. Arya Kim's final strategic models showed complete deconstruction of the alien confederation's ability to function as a unified system. Military, economic, communication, and governmental structures would take centuries to rebuild, if they could rebuild at all. Critical planetary systems began to fail. Advanced technology became nothing more than expensive metal and circuits. The humans had not destroyed but had completely neutralized an entire civilization's technological capabilities. J. Park watched the final tactical displays. Millions of systems disabled, entire networks neutralized, and not a single human life lost in the process. The ultimate revenge was complete. A perfect execution of strategic planning and technological superiority. As the human fleet began to retreat, they left behind a clear message. The galaxy would remember this moment. Humanity was not a forgotten species to be eliminated. They were a force of technological evolution, patient, prepared, and ultimately unstoppable. The artificial intelligence area calculated the final strategic outcomes. The alien confederation would take generations to recover, if they could recover, at all. Humanity had not just survived. They had transformed into something far beyond their original form. In the vast darkness of space, the human ship disappeared, leaving behind a completely transformed galactic landscape. The message was clear. Humanity would never again be considered extinct. They had returned, and the universe would never be the same. J. Park looked at his crew. They had waited 3,000 years for this moment. Revenge was not about destruction. It was about proving their right to exist their ability to survive, and their ultimate technological superiority.